节目。
This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Shirley Lin, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories. Taiwan's foreign ministry said on Tuesday that it will continue to support Lithuania on many levels. If China attacked Taiwan, Taiwan would need to mobilize its entire society to defend Taiwan. That was the word from U.S. Navy Admiral Samuel Paparo, the commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Taiwan should hold Coast Guard exercises with other countries. That was the word from a defense expert at the Institute for National Defense and Security Research, Taiwan's top military think tank. But first, today's top story. Taiwan's foreign ministry said on Tuesday that it will continue to support Lithuania on many levels. That's as China has imposed economic and diplomatic sanctions on Lithuania for welcoming a Taiwanese representative office. In March, Foreign Minister Joseph Wu said Taiwan is working on enabling Lithuania, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic to become a part of the semiconductor supply chain. Taiwan sent a delegation to the three countries in March to discuss related cooperation. In February, the Taiwan and Lithuania Center for Semiconductors and Material Science opened in Vilnius. As Lithuania is a global leader in laser technology, the center's first project will integrate Lithuania's laser technology and Taiwan's crystal growth technology to develop advanced thin-disk laser systems. Taiwan has imported over 100 containers of Lithuanian rum, milk, and agricultural products to help offset Chinese economic sanctions. Taiwan also has a $200 million investment fund for Lithuania, which Eric Huang, the head of the Taiwanese representative office, said will likely be used in semiconductor, laser, and biotechnology. Taiwan also has a $1 billion credit fund to support investment between the two countries. Western nations have also voiced support for Lithuania. On March 31st, the Danish parliament voted 103 in favor and 0 against to support Lithuania as it faces Chinese coercion. The resolution supports Taiwan's participation in the World Health Assembly and welcomes the initiation of a WTO dispute consultations with China over Lithuania. On March 23rd, the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee passed a bipartisan resolution that commends and supports Lithuania for strengthening ties with Taiwan. The resolution also supports Lithuania's firm stance against Chinese coercion. In the European Parliament this year, 41 members wrote a joint letter calling on EU leaders to support Lithuania. If China attacked Taiwan, Taiwan would need to mobilize its entire society to defend Taiwan. That was the word from U.S. Navy Admiral Samuel J. Paparo, the commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, at a panel discussion on Monday. When asked about a potential war in the Taiwan Strait, he said it would require an all-out effort by Taiwan's military in the Taiwan Strait, coastline, and throughout Taiwan. He also said that Taiwan's army needs to be agile, and the whole society would need to be mobilized to defend Taiwan. Paparo was also asked how Taiwan's armed forces should upgrade their defense abilities. In response, Paparo praised Taiwan's armed forces, President Tsai Ing-wen, and Taiwan's defense minister, and said they know which areas need to upgrade. Paparo also said that China is certainly learning from the Ukraine war. Paparo said it is necessary to always be ready for a possible attack by China. He said he always operates under the notion of the potential of conflict within our region within a couple of years because of the incredible unpredictability of events. Last year, former Indo-Pacific Commander General Phil Davidson said that China could attack Taiwan within 6 years. Regarding this timeline, Paparo said it is difficult to predict when China might attack as it involves many complex factors, but it is necessary to be alert and ready. Taiwan reported 216 new local cases of COVID-19 on Tuesday. Health authorities also reported 65 more imported cases among people arriving in Taiwan. There were no deaths reported. The number of local cases is the highest so far this year. It was also the 5th consecutive day of domestic cases over 100. However, most of the recent cases have shown mild or no symptoms. Of the 216 domestic cases, 114 had no symptoms at all. Most of the people with COVID are from northern Taiwan, with 91 people from near Taipei, 33 from Keelung, 28 from Taipei, 13 from Hsinchu County, 11 from Taoyuan, and 8 from Hsinchu City. Authorities also reported 10 each from Kaohsiung and Hualien, 5 from Taichung, 3 each from Yilan and Zhanghua, and 1 from Tainan. Taiwan also recorded 65 imported cases of COVID-19 on Tuesday. 28 of them tested positive on arrival in Taiwan, while the remaining 37 tested positive during quarantine. They include travelers coming from Indonesia, United States, and Vietnam, among others. Taiwan should hold Coast Guard exercises with other countries. That was the word from a defense expert at the Institute for National Defense and Security Research, Taiwan's top military think tank. In a recent article, Shu Xiaohuang said that as joint Coast Guard exercises are less sensitive than military exercises, Taiwan should work with the Coast Guards of other nations and hold joint exercises. The U.S. and Taiwan signed a Coast Guard agreement in March 2021 to strengthen cooperation in dealing with gray zone maritime conflicts. Shu said that maritime hybrid conflicts and gray zone activities are emerging threats that the U.S. and its allies must deal with. Shaw also noted that China's naval forces outnumber that of other countries. He said that as China poses a threat to the Indo-Pacific, the U.S. and Taiwan should strengthen their naval and Coast Guard forces to be able to respond to any situation. The Education Ministry is promoting a free online service that connects students of all ages to a wide variety of education platforms. The ministry said on Tuesday that access to EDU Cloud is now extended to students and teachers at overseas Taiwanese schools. The ministry says that online learning has boomed over the course of the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced many schools to switch to remote learning. Last year, the ministry's educational service site had over 32 million views. Through EDU Cloud, students can access a wide range of educational programs sponsored by national and local organizations. This includes popular interactive learning sites like Cool English and Hagemo. In addition, the ministry's platform also includes access to Microsoft Office 365, Google Workspace for Education, and other free learning materials. The ministry says it welcomes more students and teachers to apply for a free account on EDU Cloud so that more people can benefit from its educational resources. Taiwan celebrated Children's Day on Monday, and many families enjoy the holiday by taking trips all around the island. In Kaohsiung, some lucky children realized there was a fun surprise right in their own neighborhood.
A boy swings across a zip line from one end of a playground to the other. And that's no small distance. This new zipline in Lianshitan's Children's Park in Kaohsiung stretches 30 meters long, a record amongst playgrounds in Taiwan. The children eagerly run back to rejoin the line after taking their turn, and many say that it's a thrilling ride. This zipline is one of several recent additions to the park's playground. The Children's Park wasn't the only exciting place to be this holiday break. Tourists also flocked to Kaohsiung's Dragon and Tiger pagodas. Many people were excited to take advantage of the good weather after a long stretch of cold, rainy days. The holiday weekend may be coming to an end, but luckily these fun attractions will still be here year-round for people to enjoy. Emma Benak, RTI News.
The 4-day weekend, which celebrated Children's Day and Tomb Sweeping Day, started out dreary but came sunny. People in central Taiwan flocked to see peonies in full bloom. People couldn't stop taking pictures of the colorful flowers in bloom in central Taiwan. In Taichung, visitors enjoy taking selfies or group photos with acres of wisteria, bluebonnets, or lilies. In Nantou, peonies are in full bloom. It's the peak season of peony blossoms until the end of April. More than 3,000 admirers of the flower showed up at Nantou's Sanling River on the long weekend. Another attraction in Nantou County also saw a lot of visitors due to the nice weather. Parents brought their little ones to one of the famous amusement parks on Children's Day on Monday. Many more went there the following day after paying respects to their ancestors on Tomb Sweeping Day. It's also the migration season for purple crow butterflies. People enjoy watching swarms of butterflies and taking pictures with them as they migrate north from the area surrounding one of the national highways in Taiwan. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Shirley Lin. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by RTI.
This is the sound of my country. This is the sound of Taiwan.
考起来，别让我的劲。
Taiwan, a small island with a whole world of sounds.
Thank you for joining us here on Radio Taiwan International. Up next for you, I have about an hour of English programming, which includes the show #Taiwan, in which I go over what's the biggest trending topic online in Taiwan for the week. And then next, after that, we have Status Update with Tomash and Shirley, where they read letters from you, our listeners. But we're going to start off, like we always do, with a show we like to call Here in Taiwan. Welcome to Here in Taiwan, where we talk about some of the other news stories that don't make it onto our website. We come to you in two formats in the show. One is Facebook Live, and if you're listening, well, then if you're watching on Facebook Live, then we are coming to you in real time. Today is Monday, April 4th. But if you're listening via Shortwave, then today is Tuesday, April 5th. And what's going on in Taiwan for Here in Taiwan? Well, I got you. Taiwan nabbed its first ever Grammy, which is very exciting. And then a Taiwanese frog is causing mayhem for a sandwich in Auckland, New Zealand. And then afterwards, I'm going to be telling you about some of the memorials that is going on, because we are 1 year out of a horrible train disaster that happened about a year and 2 days ago. And we're going to be telling you about some of the memorials that have been established in memory of the victims. And then, if we have time, I'm going to keep going and tell you about Taiwan's judoka heartthrob who won another gold. So, all that and more coming up next on Here in Taiwan. Don't go away. Stash. So did you realize it's award season, actually? It is award realize season. That. Have you won any?
My invitation must have got lost in the post.
Yeah, that too, right? But we would like to say that Natalie, our Natalie here, she got nominated for a New York Broadcast Award, I think it was called.
The New York Festival.
New York Festival for their special.
Another Taiwanese representative.
That's right.
In the States.
But we are going to be talking about Taiwan at the Grammys, and Taiwan won its first ever Grammy.
Is that the first? It's the first ever one for Taiwanese people?
That's what I'm reading over here.
Okay.
And they won it by Taiwanese designers Li Zhenhan and Yu Wei. They won a Grammy Award for Best Record Packaging for their album Peik Lang. I'm definitely I am butchering
You're
that.
butchering that.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
I have no idea.
Pakalang?
Pakalang? I don't know.
I don't know. So they designed an album cover, I'm guessing, or not just. I guess it is so much more than album covers right now.
I would guess it's Pakalang. It's by the second generation Falangao singing group.
Oh, there you go.
The Chairman.
Okay. The album package features Taiwan's eastern coastline sculpted by paper. Wow. So, this sounds like a very intensive album package.
It's a kind of I'll post a picture of it for our Facebook listeners.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of I guess a kind of relief map of coastal Taiwan. So that's the kind of forming the feature, the central kind of part of this design. It's pretty cool stuff, and really exciting to have Taiwanese people kind of represented in this way.
Taiwan's design is actually pretty good. We got a lot of good innovators in the field of design, actually, and a lot of people go into the design field here, whether it be industrial or artistic.
It's funny, there's a kind of weird tension in Taiwan between, you're right, like the talent of Taiwanese designers and the reluctance of Taiwanese businesses to actually use any of it.
Yeah, right?
so many really talented Taiwanese designers out there.
But then a lot of the businesses, they still use archaic designs, be it UX or
websites that haven't been updated in 20 years.
It's just... if we can somehow just get these two fields to just like join together, think of how much money this man would make, this person.
Think of what could happen.
Yeah. At the award ceremony on Sunday in the States, actually, The two winners, they actually said Taiwan is a beautiful country, peace-loving country. We hope someday you can visit, and everyone is super welcome. And that's, Taiwan was...
How did that go down?
It was met with cheers and claps and stuff like that, but, people were very happy. Anytime Taiwan gets mentioned in the mainstream anything, we lose our minds. When Ang Lee won Best Director for Life of Pi, he went insane. Taiwan went insane. And I think he said in Taiwan, he was just, in Chinese, he said, "Thank you, everybody." And that was that clip was replayed for a week straight.
I'm kind of intrigued because I didn't know the Grammys went this far off the beaten track. You hear about all the big headliners, and sort of Billie Eilish this, Lady Gaga that. But this is, I'm reading this, the name of this artist here, the second generation Falangao singing group and the chairman. How do they find this?
I have no idea.
It's clearly got some good research, but it's a really cool design, and super, super cool to see.
That is really neat, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. But Taiwan was also nominated for another Taiwanese person for design. Her name was Xiao Qingyang, it doesn't say, had been nominated for a Grammy this year in the same category, basically.
Really?
So you have two Taiwanese artists or two Taiwanese groups that have been nominated for the same. So that's a testament to
top of their game.
Yeah, design game at least. And this album was wrapped in wrinkled photos or illustrations showing images of the COVID-19 virus, roses, or people protesting, rather than smooth pieces of paper. So
it's really complex stuff.
Yeah, it's really complex stuff. And apparently Xiao, this person who didn't win but was nominated, they received nominations in 2005, 2008, 2009, 2011, and 2019.
Wow.
So they have been nominated many times.
Must be really frustrating.
It's gotta be. Anyway,
maybe this year.
Well, I guess maybe they take grace in the fact that it was another Taiwanese group that...
did they get invited? These people, they were at...
Yeah, they were at the ceremony. They were at the ceremony.
That's going to be a lot of fun, regardless of whether you win or not. Although, I've heard mixed things about those ceremonies. Sometimes they look really fancy, but sometimes I think they can be quite boring when you're just waiting for it to get to your part.
You want to get to the after party, man.
Exactly.
Alright, let's talk about sandwiches really quickly. Why not? Sandwiches are great food, man. But this is a sandwich coming from a cafe in New Zealand. This cafe in New Zealand, it's in Auckland.
Yeah.
And this was from Cosmo Coffee. And he says this coffee house offers a sandwich, a Taiwanese sandwich.
Oh.
And the Taiwanese sandwich...
What is a Taiwanese sandwich?
It's a Taiwan-style sandwich, right? So it's not going to sound very Taiwanese if I tell you the components. You're going to be like, that just sounds like every other sandwich.
Yeah.
But I kind of know where they're going.
Wow.
So the sandwich has toast, cheese, ham, and Taiwanese mayonnaise, which I didn't realize we had our own brand of
Taiwanese mayonnaise.
Yeah. And because it's a Taiwanese sandwich, they just put the Taiwanese flag on the menu. And whenever you try and put Taiwan on Taiwanese flags on anything, it's a big deal.
Yeah. You're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. And so this restaurant doesn't necessarily serve Taiwanese food exclusively. There's Korean food, Italian food, Vietnamese food, American food. I guess this is just an all-around bistro.
Yeah.
And
they're putting flags and everything.
Yeah. And one reviewer on Google said they felt uncomfortable that a sandwich, the menu entry had a Taiwanese flag on it, and the one China policy reared its head, man. And then the restaurant deleted that review, and then it got another 8 one-star reviews, negative reviews. And then, this was a whole thing. And then I guess this New Zealand Restaurant Association had to the CEO had to come out. Her name was Marissa Boudoir.
Yeah.
And she had to come out and be like, well, you can't just give reviews for the sake of, if like for political reasons. Like, you can review it if the sandwich isn't that good, but if it's for political reasons, we're not. We condemn this. I mean, this is as far as it goes, right? And the restaurant has gone to say it's like we're not gonna change it. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, normally,
which is nice because how many times have you heard like businesses just backtracking and trying to, you know, just like, oh, we're sorry, we'll put the Taiwanese flag on the menu and yada yada yada.
Chinese Taipei,
Chinese Taipei,
Taiwan,
one China policy, yada yada yada. So this is
I'd say also we're joined by Shaukat Ali Tanri from Pakistan, from Sakar Sindh. Our show is nice, and also Lloyd Eric Donato, who is joining us from. Well, right in. I don't know where you're joining us.
Yeah,
from.
let us know.
But no, it's very good to have. I also saw Ivan Dai is joining us.
Hey, Ivan Dai. So
nice to have people standing up for Taiwanese sandwich. I'm not like a Taiwan sandwich.
A Taiwan
I
sandwich.
know the thing. It's a kind of the cellophane wrapped white bread.
It's a triangle shape
thing that you get on a counter at a kind of traditional breakfast shop. They're fair enough. I do have one quibble with Taiwanese sandwiches. Which is that I think that they're too neat. I think I have a friend who works for a very high end Japanese style packaged food company.
Yeah.
And it's these are very expensive kind of sandwiches, and they're perfectly white, they're perfectly square, squared edges, squared corners, and there's nothing very special inside, and people buy these things in large numbers. Whereas for me, a good sandwich is it's roughly it's sliced, it's messy,
stacked to the heavens.
There's things popping out of all sides. There's sauce. There's bread. That kind of thing. I'd like Taiwan to move in that direction when it comes to sandwiches. That would be my feedback.
Duly noted, man. I'm going to tell the Sandwich Association here about your
contacts there, don't you?
I actually hold office there.
Chief Sandwichier.
So we're coming out of the weekend, and today is Monday, but on Saturday is actually the 1-year anniversary of the Taroko Express disaster. Now, for those of you that didn't know, 1 year ago on Saturday, 49 people died when a train derailed off the eastern coast of Taiwan. This is the eastern train line. It crashed because a construction truck was rolled its way onto the tracks, and then the train derailed. It was going at a fast velocity.
Yeah, I believe it was, if I remember correctly, around 130 kilometers an hour.
49 people passed away in that incident.
Yeah.
And when they ran, they kind of, 40 family members of the victims, they gathered at the crash site near Qingsuitan, Hualien County, and then they commemorated what was going on, commemorated the occasion. One of the newest trains in Taiwan, the EMU 3000, it was number 408, made a temporary stop at the tracks near the tunnel to blow its horn in honor of the victims before it continues journey southbound.
Wow.
So this is kind of like, what's the equivalent here? I guess it's a salute of sorts.
Yeah, I guess, kind of on the site itself.
Yeah.
It must have been a very poignant moment for everyone on board that train.
Oh, and this is because the EMU 3000, this was the train that replaced the one that was derailed. It has the same number.
Yeah.
That's why.
Right.
Okay.
Is this the new train that our former colleague Andrew Ryan
yes.
had?
Yeah.
It looks very fancy.
It is a fancy.
I do want to wrap up.
Some people were very forgiving of the incident. They were just like, our family is in heaven right now, Some are not.
Yeah.
One of the victims' father was heard shouting, "Take back your money, Taiwan Railway Administration, bring back my son."
Yeah. So he's probably referring there to the fact that Taiwan hands out fairly substantial, what's the word, kind of...
consolatory...
like a compensation.
Yeah, compensation.
For kind of deaths and accidents. So, yeah, I mean, I know that there's been loud and continuing calls for reform in the Taiwan Railways administration. I know actually also the front two carriages of this train, which we should repeat, crashed a year ago, and they were badly damaged in the incident itself, and that was where most of the people who died in those front two carriages. Those two carriages are now in a train depot in Taoyuan in northern Taiwan as a permanent memorial. They're actually in a depot owned by Taiwan Railways Administration to serve there as a reminder that this should never happen again. And that was something that the families of the victims requested. I mean, this is something that also, I think, someone made a point at the time. It was an accident, I think, that touched a lot of people. I mean, the East Coast is the less populated half of Taiwan.
Yeah.
95% of people on Taiwan's west coast, and 49 people in the grand scheme of things isn't in terms of Taiwan's population, is not a large number, but particularly when you think about how people link together into communities, it certainly felt like a lot of people knew someone who lost someone in that accident.
Yeah, I think one of our camera people here, one of our directors, he knew someone who passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I actually had an American friend who was in Taiwan at that point, who went on a cycling trip with some of my friends. And had he not been invited to that cycling trip,
he would have been on the
train.
Oh, wow.
And he would have been probably sat with two American women who died in that crash.
That's rough, man.
Yeah. That's really rough. Because there were two American citizens who passed away as a result of the accident. They were both Fulbright scholars, a scholarship that sends a lot of Americans over here. So certainly, a really poignant moment.
Yeah, so this is what happened, and just to go back to Stash's point about the government handing out, like, compensation, it's the government paid out $150 million in damages.
Right, so that
which is
about $5 million US?
$5 million US.
$5 million US.
Yeah. And there will be another anniversary commemoration. Oh, there was another commemoration at Taipei Main Station in Taipei at 7 p.m. on Saturday that day. What that entailed, this story doesn't go into it, but that's what's going on. This is a very sad tragedy. It was one of the worst, if not the worst, train accident in Taiwan.
I believe it was the worst for decades. There was an accident, I think, in 1948, if I remember correctly, that the numbers of deaths, they're not sure about that one, but that one, they think maybe 60 people died because of a fire on a train back then. So it's definitely the worst for at least 70 years or so.
And our heart goes out to all the victims and the victims' families. How much time do we have left?
We are on about 18, so we've still got a bit.
4 minutes? All right. So I guess 2021 was the Tokyo Summer Olympics, right? And Taiwan did really well. Yeah. 2020, you had the 2020 Summer Olympics in 2021. So that in and of itself is already trading. But Taiwan did really well that year. We got 12 medals, which is the most we've ever gotten ever.
Yeah, it was startling number.
Many people rose to stardom during that time, right? Because Taiwan also won many unprecedented medals in other categories. One of which is judo.
As the French say it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to go for. Judo silver medalist. He was Yang Yongwei. He won the silver medal at the Olympics.
Taiwan's first medal at the Olympics.
Yeah.
So that was the one that got started got the ball rolling, so to speak.
And he's a very strapping young gentleman. So he was he became a kind of like an overnight sensation.
Yeah.
He was a heartthrob, and almost overnight he started appearing on like billboards and like store ads. I was like, oh wow, he's doing really well for himself. Well, he's doing even better because he just won another gold, a Grand Slam gold, and he defeated former world champion. Ooh, I'm going to butcher this. Okumi Shikavimiani of Georgia. The country, not the state. I always have to preface that.
Go with that one.
And what happened was, apparently, he defeated this former world champion with a dropping shoulder attack.
I don't want to be...
That sounds dangerous.
I'll avoid one of those.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the receiving end of that one.
Not from him, definitely.
And this was at the Antalya Grand Slam 2022 in Turkey on Friday. Now, he also won Yang also won the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Slam.
Wow.
And he also won that with a shoulder throw technique in the last minute and 32 seconds.
Wow.
And he won in his category, which is the 60-kilogram category. And Yang was just like, because he won it twice.
Yeah.
I guess, like, first time maybe a fluke, second time is just like, that's all skill, right? So he let out a roar. He's like, yeah!
Wow.
And he's a big deal. And you know what? The person who presented him with the medal was actually Taiwan's representative to Turkey.
Ah, who's that?
Let me see here. That's his coach.
Taiwan's Turkey representative.
Yeah, Huang Ziyang.
Huang
There you go. And he said, and the Huang Ziyang, he's just like, in my 24 years of foreign service, this is the most touching moment. Like, that was a big deal, man.
Wow.
He's like, I'll never forget this moment. Thank you, Yang Yong, for making Taiwanese diplomats so proud. And
yeah, it must be fun to be a diplomat and be at those events, and also like to get up and go on stage and present your guy with the medal.
Yeah, and then, his coach was there, and then apparently Yang is going to be trying to kick some more butt because he's going to be coming back to Taiwan.
Shoulder drop up.
And he is going to Taiwan. He's come back to Taiwan to prepare for, get this, the Chengdu 2021 Summer World University Games.
Yes.
And Stash, need I remind you, we are already in 2022.
Is this gonna? How long is this going to continue?
I have no idea.
Like a backlog.
Yeah, it's going to be a backlog.
Like 2023, we're like, yes, the
2022, right? Because
forever.
I mean, these look like annual events.
Yeah.
Yang Yongwei is 24 years old, and
wow, he's younger than I thought.
Yeah, he's about the same age as you.
He's younger than me.
He's younger than you. Yeah, and he became the first ever judo Olympic medalist last year, and
he's in the under 60. So he's like
60 kilograms.
He's probably on the shorter side of
he's
things.
not. I think in judo you get, because you have a smaller center of gravity, and judo is all about how you can manipulate that to.
Yeah, he's 167 meters tall. So what is that?
167.
What's that in feet and inches? So can we do the calculation?
Can we do the American, the freedom unit, as they say?
The feet and inches. That is it's about 5.5 feet. So 5.6.
5.5 feet. Oh yeah. So
5'6", something like that. 5'5".
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's got to be all muscle if he's shoulder dropping.
Yeah, he's probably just a bundle of muscle.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he's actually very inspiring. I was like, oh man, I want to be like Yang Yongwei.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should do this.
You should be judo.
Maybe I should be. But now you're saying that I need to be short. I should probably
We'll find you a sports dash. We'll find you a sport.
I was just like, don't you think? I think Taiwan's Olympians have. I mean, honestly, like you see them everywhere now.
Yeah.
Like, in all like commercials, all adverts, you're like, oh, yeah, that's one of the Olympians.
The guy.
Oh, that's the ping pong people. There's Daicing,
the weightlifter.
The weight, yeah. I mean, you see a lot of Daicing, the badminton silver medalist and world number one.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I mean, in many ways, I think it's better to be a medal winner for a country that doesn't win a lot of medals.
But good for them, you know. It's just like they excel, and then at these sports competitions, and then they make money off. I mean, it's good on Taiwan's like companies to have asked them to be spokespeople, because sports in Taiwan it's kind of like a fleeting career.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better now than it was before. But what does that really say, right? You don't really want to say it's worse than it was before.
Yeah, exactly.
So you always wanted to go better. But
I'm trying to think of which are the ones that haven't been so represented advertising. Because I've seen Daicing, I've seen the ping pong, the badminton.
And Wang Qiding.
Yeah.
And then did you see
Pommel Horseman? Yeah. There's a few. I'm sure I want to see those people more.
Have you seen Guo Xingzu?
I've seen a few of Guo Xingzu.
I've seen her on like covers of magazines.
Yeah.
She's basically the strongest woman in the world at this point.
And then there's the ping pong. I think there's some ping pong. There
was some ping pong guys.
I haven't seen so much of that.
The archery team.
I haven't really seen them.
They won silver too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Where the archery people get involved?
Anyway, that music means we are running out of time for this edition of Here in Taiwan. mustaches queuing me out. Thank you so much for joining us and listening to us talk about sandwiches and judo and memorials and the Grammys. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Here in Taiwan. And for Here in Taiwan, I'm Leslie Liao.
I'm Dash Butler.
We'll talk to you guys again very soon. See you around. Welcome to Hashtag Taiwan, the show where we talk about what's trending online, well, in Taiwan. I'm your host, Leslie Liao, and for the next few minutes, I'm going to be telling you about something that maybe happened on social media in Taiwan, or a popular YouTube video that's circulating the internet, or maybe I'm just going to tell you about a piece of news that got a lot of attention in Taiwan. This week, we're going to be talking about the war in Ukraine. Now, if you follow Radio Taiwan International on our coverage about how Taiwan sees the conflict in Ukraine, you'll know that Taiwan very much stands with Ukraine, and it's doing whatever it can to support Ukraine in the face of Russian invasion. Taiwan streets have hosted pro-Ukrainian demonstrations. Private stores and businesses are running promotions and to gather donations for Ukraine. And the Taiwanese government has actually set up a dedicated bank account to take in donations from the public, which will then be donated to Ukraine. Now, this week's story focuses on these efforts, but one story in particular has gotten a lot of attention online. Now, this is about a man who says he doesn't have any money to really donate to Ukraine, but he still wants to help and fight for their freedom. And when I say fight for their freedom, I mean that in a very literal sense. So this story is coming up next on Hashtag Taiwan. Don't go away. Russia's invasion into Ukraine is entering its 5th week. Like I've said before, Taiwan very much stands with Ukraine. Taiwan's foreign ministry set up a bank account to take in donations for people who want to send money to Ukraine. As of recording, the bank account has taken in over 124,000 donations, totaling approximately $33.3 million. People in Taiwan are helping any way they can, even if they can't donate money. Meet Wang Reiti. He's a former Taiwanese military policeman and a member of the indigenous Amis people. What's he doing? Well, last week, Wang made the news when he announced his intention to join the International Legion of Territorial Defense of Ukraine. The Legion is exactly what it sounds like. It's a military unit where non-Ukrainian people can sign up and fight to defend Ukraine. On March 21st, Wang announced on his Facebook page that he traveled to the Ukrainian embassy in Finland and signed up for the Ukrainian International Legion. In his post, he said he had no money to give, but he would gladly help fight for Ukrainian people's freedom. Many people wished Wang well and hoped for his safety. Wang said he went through a 10-minute interview and he told Ukrainian officials that he had served in Taiwan's military police and knew how to use firearms. In later posts, he urged Taiwanese people who also thought about joining Ukraine's Foreign Legion not to. He said that those people need to stay and to protect Taiwan. Wang made his way to Lithuania, where he found out that his application had been rejected. The Ukrainian embassy in Vilnius said that Wang lacked the necessary combat experience. It's not that Ukraine didn't want his help, it was just that the foreign unit implemented stricter requirements. The first batch of accepted applicants was not subject to any prerequisites, and that resulted in many people getting discharged for poor conduct. The Ukrainian embassy then asked Wang if he was willing to help the refugees in other countries, and he agreed. He said his next destination is Warsaw, Poland. Wang said that since he can't pick up a gun, he will pick up a knife and cook some good Taiwanese food for Ukrainian refugees instead. Wang is not the only Taiwanese person that wants to join Ukraine's International Legion. At this point, I've heard of at least 2 other people who want to go as well. And I think Wang and those other people demonstrate something really important. You don't need vast amounts of money to help people in need. All you need is heart and sometimes combat experience. And that's it for this week's edition of Hashtag Taiwan. I want to know what you think of Wang's story. For me, it certainly is a very selfless story and one that just demonstrates how much Taiwanese people are willing to help. well, not only represents himself, but he represents, I think, all of Taiwanese people, and I thank him for what he does and his willingness to assist people. Anyway, if you haven't already, I highly recommend that you check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can also find us on our YouTube channel. Anyway, I'll be back next week with another edition of #Taiwan. What will we get into next week? Well, with the internet, you really never know. So I highly encourage you to come back and listen in on the surprise. Anyway, guys, until next week, I've been Leslie Liao, and I'll talk to you again very soon.
Hello there. You've just tuned into Status Update. I'm Shirley Lin.
And I'm Tomasz Koper.
This is a program where we read your letters that you write us and let us know what programs you listen to from the English service in the past week or so. And just, you give us details about the listening condition and what you think about the show itself. Well, before we do all that, like getting to letters, let's update our personal status a little bit here. We are looking at a long weekend, although this program is broadcast on Tuesday, but we actually pre-record the show, so we're just only going into the weekend, but it's going to be a long weekend with a Children's Day and Tomb Sweeping Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Children's Day on Monday, Tomb Sweeping Day on Tuesday, so actually everybody else gets like 4 days off for the whole weekend. But we're going to be still working here, getting the programs out to you and the news out to you, like always. We're very dedicated, but still, I think we can update our status here. What are you doing?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to wait until we're on the air before I announce that I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm getting my papers, and I am out of here. Bye. No, of course I'm not. But this is April 1st. It is April Fool's when we are recording this.
Yeah.
Just before the long weekend. And I don't know about you, but I have a very busy schedule this weekend.
You too.
Everyone wants to meet.
Okay. Well, good.
And
You're that
on
popular.
Saturday.
Well, the thing is that you got so serious. Your facial expression. I was going like, Thomas, what's going on? How come you didn't say anything?
Well, because you have to commit to a good joke.
I know.
It's all about the acting.
We were really racking our brains to think about, what kind of April Fools to play on you guys. But anyway,
yeah.
I'm bad at this myself. But so you got everything planned for the Saturday. All these friends want to meet you and get together with you.
Everyone wants to meet up.
Yeah, so you're popular, but you're worried.
Well, a little bit. I mean, the number of cases got me a bit spooked.
There's a spike in domestic cases here in Taiwan. I think likewise with some of the protests in China too. My daughter's there in Shanghai. Her region, her district, is on lockdown.
Right.
So she's going to be working from home.
I've heard that from one other person I know in Shanghai. Yeah.
I know.
It's getting pretty wild out there.
Right. So. Are you going to cancel any of those appointments you're going to have on Saturday?
Well, we'll see. It's I don't know because it's my father-in-law's birthday.
You should go to
I mean, obviously I'm going to that. Yeah, that's going to be a lunch, and that's going to be at home. We're not going to a restaurant or anything, just a family.
So that should be
hopefully it won't be a problem. Then because this is outside of Taipei, in the suburbs, in Linkou. So then I am rushing back to Taipei to meet a friend who became a father 2 years ago, and I haven't seen him since. Almost. I think maybe I saw him once in that time. So finally he gets a day off, and he wants to meet up. Just three of us, like me, him, and another mutual friend. And so that shouldn't be a problem. That's also going to be, we're going to my friend's place.
Oh, okay.
So we're not going to be outside in a bar or anything.
Yeah.
But then there's dinner with another group of friends in the evening, and then they want to go out and get a drink. So I don't know how that is going to work out because...
Well, authorities are most concerned is places like bars and
exactly, I know.
Nightclubs and...
Well, you now have to show a proof of vaccination, so at least you know that if you're going to a bar... Yeah.
So have you gotten your third shot?
No.
So I might not go because of that.
Ooh.
No, actually, the place we're going to is a restaurant, so it's not technically a bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
they still require
2 shots.
Oh, okay.
Booster only if you want to go to a bar. I know. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, making a distinction there.
Right, and I will be getting my booster this Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good for you.
Yeah, I have 2 shots, but because I got my shots abroad, I wasn't able to use the national registration system because I wasn't in the database.
Yeah.
Even when I actually registered the 2 shots with the authorities, they told me, like, okay, it's in the system now. We know that you got your shots abroad, but you still can't use the appointment system. Like, you have to call clinics or hospitals directly.
Yeah.
And it seemed for a while that the clinics and hospitals in my area were out of BioNTech, like the Pfizer, which is what I got for the first 2 shots. So now I have to get a 3rd shot from the same manufacturer, from the same brand.
Okay.
So there.
You don't want to try Moderna?
I don't know if I can. That's the thing. Because there are some rules on which brands you can mix. I guess I could try Moderna because Moderna is the same technology. It's mRNA.
Oh, you would know. Because I think Emma, you know, our colleague, she was getting her booster shot last week, and no, just a couple of days ago, and she got BioNTech for the first 2, so she really wanted to get a BioNTech for the 3rd.
Right.
But she was told they're out of it.
Right. Yeah. So I might end up getting Moderna. So she got Moderna as well.
No. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Well, I guess if it's the same technology, it matters less which brand it is. I know that I can't take like AZ. I can't take AstraZeneca as my booster because
it's not recommended anyway.
Yeah. It's not. It doesn't work basically. If your first 2 shots were mRNA.
Something else, right?
There is a designated time for foreigners specifically to get their shots, both first and second dose and booster shots at Taipei Main Station.
Oh, that's right. You kind of can just walk in or something like that.
It's a walk-in vaccination center, but they have a time, 4 hours on Sundays every week, specifically for foreigners.
Oh,
so that the service is in English, which is not really a problem in my case. I can learn in Chinese, but you don't have to make appointments, and it's like mainly for Southeast Asians who live and work in Taiwan in large numbers. Like there are a lot of people from countries like Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia who work in or live in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And that time is kind of like set aside for us, for the foreign community here, if we want to get vaccinated, sort of just hassle-free.
Yeah.
So I might go and get that because I tried calling a lot of different places in my district, and this is Shilin, Tianmu, Beito. I've called many places, and they were all out of BNT.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't asking about Moderna because I was still hoping to get like BNT, but now I'm gonna be less picky, I guess.
Yeah, because I think
with
really
over 100 cases, and for our listeners elsewhere, 100 cases might not sound like a lot.
Anything,
you might have seen like tens of thousands of cases where you are, depending on where you live. But here, I mean, we've had close to 0 cases for so long that 100 cases, is really spooky.
Yeah, that's why. So, actually, talking about the, Taipei Main Station getting the booster shot, one of my friends, the husband, he refused to, even get the first vaccine, for the longest time. I don't know for whatever reason. He was afraid of a needle or he was of something or another. I have no idea. But he was talked into getting the shot. He's got 2 right now from his daughters who live in London. And, because I think for work reasons, he might eventually have to go to Beijing. I think that's when he realized that he better get the shot.
He better get the shot, yeah.
So he got it at the Taipei Main Station, along with all these other Southeast Asian. But, his wife was with him, and it's a little scary because so many people in the main hallway, the plaza of the Taipei Main Station. You can fit so many people in there and waiting for your shot. it's like you're risking so much to get a shot.
Well, I mean, it's on regular days or on weekdays, everyone can go in and get a shot. But specifically on Sunday, it's just for.
Oh yeah, right. You're right. Yeah. On the weekends, that's when these.
Not even the whole weekend. Just Sunday.
Just Sunday.
And just 4 hours.
The migrant workers, they usually have that. That's the day when they have off.
Yes.
So well, as for me, on Sunday we're actually having some friends over. But now with this, I'm not sure. We're going to order pizza, and because some of the friends in that group have never been to our place, and we said, we invite them over, have pizza and some fried chicken, and then we thought, because we're not too far from Bitan, it's this nice end of the river place with a bridge. And so we're thinking about walking from a place. It's like a 30-minute walk to that place. And some of our friends have little kids. We tell them you make sure you bring their strollers. We can walk there. It's a great place to roam around. And there's swan boats. There's just very nice, relaxing place. People like to walk their dogs there and all that.
I like the other shore of the lake.
The other side, you mean?
Yeah, when you cross the footbridge. Because there's a very nice view of Xindian.
Okay.
The other side is less developed. There is a park. There are some trails. Yes. But there's a trail that sort of circles back down to the shores.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of open space with a little jetty, and you can sit there and just enjoy the view. I especially like being there at night. Because everything on the other shore is lit up. And then where you are, it's very dark. You can see the night sky, but you can also watch the skyline. It's very nice.
Yeah, that is right. So that's my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, I'd say it's time to get to your letters. Thank you so much for writing us. We always love to read your letters on air. But our address is PO Box 123-199 Taipei, Taiwan. Email address is rti@rti.org.tw.
You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as RTI English or Radio Taiwan International.
All right. Now, this letter here is from Eddie Prabowo of Indonesia. He listened on March 12th, and at 9405 kilohertz. Simple rating was just 3 across the board. It says the audio was heard relatively good with fading and noise as usual. Found QRM interference sound due to the excess from other stations. And he listened to Feast Meets West. That's our ex-colleague. Well, actually, he wouldn't be ex-colleague because he still has one program.
Yeah,
one to two programs right here. That's Andrew Ryan, along with a co-hosting with Ellen Chu. It was a program talking about Women's Day, a woman as a new Taipei train station chief, and talking about You Cai, Brassica Napus. I hope I'm saying it right. With some songs. Okay, well, thank you so much for the details. That was, again, Eddie Prabowo of Indonesia.
I have one from Norihiko Ida of Japan, who writes, "Hello, I enjoyed Jukebox Republic today." Oh, and this is March 15th. I was impressed that the stories told and the songs played are interlinked with each other. So much fun to listen, although Uniqlo's U-turn policy towards Russia is a shame to us, the Japanese people. Please take good care.
Right, I talked about that.
Uniqlo decided to stay in Russia when many other companies decided to withdraw.
But then they kind of took back their word 2 days later. So,
okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And I have another one from Norihiko Ida from 5 days later, from March 20th, Sunday. It is with great pleasure that I can send you my monitoring letter as follows. It was a podcast, so not listening on the shortwave. And the details are as follow. The download, which is Stasha's show. Interview with Professor Li Min on Taiwan's decision to import food from Fukushima. And Taiwan Today, interview with Professor Huang on Taiwan's military defense. My comments on your program. Download. Taiwan's decision to allow food imports from Fukushima is good news indeed, especially for the people in Fukushima, where big earthquakes hit almost a week ago. Big tremors were felt even in Tokyo. I remember that. There was a big earthquake in Fukushima.
Yeah.
But that place, I mean, it's earthquakes, tsunamis, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
These were the biggest earthquakes that I have experienced since I came back to Japan in 2015. The interviewee's explanation in the program was convincing, convincing based on scientific fact. I always think that your selection of the experts on many important subjects is exemplary. Take good care. You don't have to send me a QSL card for this monitoring letter. I listen to the program on podcast. Well, thank you very much for letting us know how that was anyway. Even if you listen on the internet, please feel free to email us or contact us in any of the other ways that we are available.
Yes. Okay, then we have a letter from Brian Newell of Logansport, Indiana in the U.S. It says here, Dear RTI, world news can be overwhelming at times. I hear about good things that are happening in Taiwan on RTI. Please do take care through COVID and through these days of patience and endurance. Best wishes, Brian Newell. Okay, he listened in on March 10th and to here in town where it was you and Stash. And then Newsmaker, you talked about Mike Pompeo. Well, let me read the details. Born in 1963 in California. He actually got the details down here. Okay. I mean, he really pays attention to the details. Engineering management at USMA, captain in 1991. Harvard Law School, Thea Aerospace in Kansas. Oilfield industry. And then Kansas Rap back in 2011. And then in 2016, he confirmed by Trump for CIA, later Secretary of State. I didn't know he was in CIA before he became U.S. Secretary of State.
For just over a year, yeah.
Okay. Once opposed Trump, later supported him. Rigid stance toward China, strengthened ties with Taiwan in official contacts and arms sales. Okay. And then visited Taiwan, got the Order of Brilliant Star. Okay. And then he listened to my one of my In the Spotlight interview show, Jeffrey Kwan. He's from Hong Kong. He works for Teeds Tech ed tech company. He's a father too, working for a startup. On the show, he was talking about mental health. He was not able to sleep while caring for a sick friend. In fact, it was his mother. And then he had these back and stomach pain. He went through 17 doctors, finally gained insight and sought balance after psychiatric visit. And he took to yoga, mindfulness practice, pescatarian diet, no red meat, also need to forgive oneself, cope with weaknesses, okay to be not okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay to be not okay. All right, thank you so much. That was again Brian Newell of Indiana, USA. And that's all the time we have for Status Update. Thank you so much. Again, our address is P.O. Box 123-199, Taipei, Taiwan. Email address is rti@rti.org.tw.
You can always find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as RTI English or Radio Taiwan International.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we'll see you next week. I'm Shadi Lin.
And I'm Tomasz Koper.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Radio Taiwan International, Taiwan's national broadcaster. We hope you enjoyed our programs. You can catch all of our latest news, audio, and video features on our website at en.rti.org.tw. Again, go to our website, en.rti.org.tw, for engaging news, videos, and programs about Taiwan. If you'd like to hang out on social media, RTI is there too. Our Facebook URL is Radio Taiwan International. And you can watch our engaging video features, including the weekly news magazine program Taiwan Insider, on our YouTube channel, RTI English. Again, our YouTube channel is RTI English. For those who enjoy the Twitter sphere, our handle for Taiwan Insider is @Taiwan Insider. For RTI English, it's @Radio Taiwan _ENG. And if you'd like to enjoy us on your smartphone, just download our app, RTI To Go. That's one of the best ways to enjoy all our news, videos, and programs. That's RTI To Go. If you're a shortwave listener, we have 2 channels in Asia. For South Asia, tune into 6100 kilohertz from 1600 to 1700 UTC. For Southeast Asia, you can hear us on 15320 kilohertz from 0300 to 0400 UTC. We would love to know what you think of our programs. Email us at english@rti.org.tw. Thank you again for tuning in to Radio Taiwan International.